Warning, this podcast contains spoilers from Season 1, Episode 11.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Oh, you're funny.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for The Flash, Season 2, Episode 17.
Season 1, Episode 11.
No.
The Sound of Fury.
No. I'm your host, Clio. With me, I have Dom and Nikki.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
It's good. What's up?
I had the weirdest sense of deja vu watching this episode.
Right?
I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
It makes me want to go back and watch that episode and see, like, just what Barry changed.
He changed too much.
I mean, yeah.
Too much.
But, strangely, nothing at all. Except for Hartley.
That's kind of a big thing.
It is
Yeah.
kind of a big thing.
No, but think about it. Because at first I was like, oh god, Barry's changing everything. This is the worst. This is the worst outcome. And then he comes back and the only thing that's changed is Hartley. And I'm like,
So far.
that's true. But I mean, you would have, I'm pretty sure any other things you would have noticed right away. Or he would have noticed right away. Why stop looking at me in that tone of voice?
Maybe, but, like, all that he did after he left Star Labs was go talk to Iris. He hasn't been anywhere else, so we don't know the implications of exactly what happens.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Thawne still happened the way it happened. Everything with the Singularity in Earth 2 still happened the way it happened. Eddie's dead.
Yep.
You know, so those were the big things where I was like, it could impact that, but it didn't.
Right. I don't know how I feel about Hartley being on the team now.
I am so happy! I started tearing up when, like, he was a good guy. I was like, oh my god, yay!
See, I don't think he's on the team, but they call him every once in a while for help, which is like the same thing they do with Firestorm and, you know, other characters.
But he's a good guy. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I'm so happy. And not only is he a good guy, but he's made up with his family.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting stuff, guys.
I started yelling at Barry as soon as he's like, check his ears for the... And I'm like...
You're changing things. Stop it, Barry. That's why I was so afraid more things would be fucked up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. And the episode ended. I was like, this terrible idea didn't go so badly now, did it?
Cleo, you did nothing but bash Barry last episode. Like, at the end when we were reading the synopsis for this, you did nothing but bash him for this.
Because it was a stupid fucking plan.
But it worked.
But the stupid fucking plan worked. And the consequences were positive, at least as far as we know. I know I was bashing Barry because it sounded stupid. Wells thought it was stupid. But it worked.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as, like, past Barry ran in, and they were just, like, looking at each other, and Barry started explaining everything, I'm like, oh, God. This is where it goes downhill.
I don't think our present Barry explained much, just enough to get by.
This was very Back to the Futurist, kind of style with the running into yourselves and, like, I loved it. Like, I just got through mentioning on one of our last Legends of Tomorrow podcast that I wanted to see an episode like that, where they have to, like, avoid themselves and run around in the same time that they were in and stuff like that. But this opens up, like, a whole nother series of questions for me.
Yeah.
Why weren't there duplicate Barrys when Barry time traveled before?
Because he'd only traveled in the past to see his mother.
And there was duplicate Barry there.
There was a duplicate Barry.
But no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, the Arrow crossover episode.
Yeah.
There was no duplicate Barry there. He went to the warehouse twice and relived that same moment twice. Like, why is there not two duplicate Barrys there where he has to? Is that because he saw himself running and that has something to do with it? Like... because this particular scene and the one where he went back to save his mother, he didn't run side by side by himself and look at each other. You know,
Yeah.
those are the two instances. Those are the two differences. Is when he's done this twice now, because would be his fourth time traveling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first two that he doesn't run into himself, he runs next to himself and sees himself.
Yes.
And the other two that he does not see himself running next to himself is when he's running into himself in the past. So I don't know the correlation between the two. Like what triggers it and what doesn't. So it's just inconsistent for me in terms of their time travel. I mean, there is a consistency to it,
Yeah.
but the consistency is inconsistent.
I would have to go back and see what exactly was different about how he. Well, because
Right.
because when the two times it happened, it was by accident. Those
Right.
two times he saw himself and there wasn't a duplicate.
Right.
He's that was by accident.
Mm-hmm.
The two times there was, the proper Barry, it was on purpose.
Right. I don't know if that necessarily has something to do with it, but that's currently the only common link that we have to these situations. So
If I had, oh God, now I wish I had more free time because I would go back and watch all those episodes again.
mm-hmm.
And it'd be easy because Netflix.
Yeah. God, now I'm thinking too much.
You're welcome.
I love that Cisco did the same thing. He was like, the white on the logo, what if in the future we make it because we saw it here? And then Wells is just like, shut up. He did the same thing. At least we know Cisco's consistent.
Yeah. You guys think I have
When-
PTSD or something?
Oh my God, I'm like, Cisco, baby Cisco, you have no idea.
That is the moment Wells figured it out.
That was the moment?
That was the moment Wells figured it out.
Oh. Really?
Because he knows that Cisco's going to become Vibe, and Barry's like insisting that like Cisco's the go-to guy to like figure things out like that. I'm positive that that's the moment Wells figured out that something was up with Barry. Like, it's not the same Barry.
I think Wells knew the moment that Barry walked in the room.
I don't think so. Because they said you got to be careful around Wells. Like, he knows you. He knows your actions.
Exactly, he knows you. He knows your actions. It was obvious that, our present Barry was faster than the past Barry. Because of how he, tricked Hartley. He was throwing things at him. He was being faster at that point. You could, they have it all in their computer. They're tracking him.
Yeah.
So I think when Barry walked in, Wells already knew. He was very suspicious. Like, he just...
I think he knew something was up.
Zeroing in.
Yeah, I think he knew something was up, but I think the epiphany moment that this is Barry from the future was the Cisco comment. Because he was already further off when Barry starts mentioning the formula. Right? You could see Wells is, like, looking at him like, yeah, there's definitely something off, but I think that Cisco comment is what threw him over.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you go back and watch Star Wars in the prequel trilogy that doesn't exist, and you go back and you watch that, and you have Obi-Wan Kenobi looking at Anakin going, why do I have the feeling you're going to be the death of me? And that's funny in context because we know that Anakin is the one that kills Obi-Wan.
Oh my God, spoilers, Dom!
Well, whatever. And... If I just spoiled Star Wars for you, you don't deserve to be here.
Get out.
So, like, that's beyond. It's whatever. I'm sorry that I spoiled, like, a 40-year-old movie for you. Like, it's not quite that old, but it's getting there.
It is.
It's
getting up in years. I was kidding.
Yeah. No, but it's kind of that moment where it's just like, I know that Cisco is Vibe.
Yeah.
How do you... Oh, and I think that's when he pieced it together. So.
Yeah. I really, really liked that, I mean, while we still have questions about the time travel thing, we got a couple more glimpses at, like, how the Speed Force works.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least how some stuff. So what I really liked was Caitlin breaking it down. She's like, you, reverse flash, and zoom all move your legs at the exact same speed. Your legs are moving at the same speed. It's just the what was it? The distance that the feet
And
fall?
the amount of
How long you're in the air?
Is how long the feet were on the ground.
How long
Yeah.
the feet were on the ground. That's the difference. So Barry's is staying on the ground longer, therefore slowing him down.
Friction and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. For some reason, he's not pushing off as hard, I guess, as the other two. So he's not spending as much time in the air.
I think it's more about the surface area. Like
they're tiptoeing.
Think of it this way. Think of it this way. If you take your hand and you take your fist at the same speed and go like this, now do that same speed with your pointer finger. Right? You're getting more force with one finger than you are with your whole fist because of the surface area. So I think it applies the same kind of physics. Is less of your foot on the ground is going to apply more force.
Eobard and Jay have smaller feet than Barry. We did it. That's it. Barry has to shrink his feet.
You know
Get the atom on the case.
You know what they say about foot sizes, right?
Huh. I drank all my drink.
Just have to pretend. That's all. Yeah. So that was really interesting. Like, just knowing that. Like, what are we going to do with that information? I don't know, but I like knowing it.
Yeah, it was a nice little tidbit that was tasty.
Yeah. And the other thing is the time wraith.
Oh gosh, that thing spooked me.
That was scary. Okay, so there was like a okay moment this week in Sleepy Hollow, and then I had it watching The Flash. I was like, oh, okay, it's a ghost. Great.
Well, because I'm sitting there watching now, and I'm like, I don't remember this from that episode. And I'm sitting there, I'm really like, why don't I remember this?
Yeah.
And then when he said it's a time wraith, I was like, oh. Got it.
Oh, wait, I've just thought of something. About the difference in the time traveling.
Okay.
So the times where he didn't have a second of himself, or a past version of himself, he only traveled back in time a day. So maybe the distance you travel matters?
It could be, and there's a possibility that I'm also thinking that Barry, at the points of time travel, was not actually time traveling. I think he was potentially crossing over to a parallel timeline.
Or creating a parallel timeline.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily time travel.
Yeah, because he was doing that.
They're going to call it time travel, but... I don't want to go into this now because technically, in the timeline of this, the Supergirl crossover, though it aired first, we didn't do the podcast for it yet, it didn't happen yet, so this is something I'm going to go over in excruciating detail on the Supergirl podcast. So those of you that are watching and don't typically watch our Supergirl podcast, you're going to want to, even if it's just for the Flash crossover episode.
Yeah.
So
look out for ASOTV podcast, the movie.
Yeah. It's all connected.
Oh,
we talked about it for 3 hours.
It's worth it, though. Deserves a 3-hour talk.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 3 hours.
Your brain will be bleeding at the end of it, but you'll be fine.
My brain is bleeding already thinking about it, so.
My brain is happy.
For now.
So the thing about the time wraith is that Eobard was saying how he just avoids it. If you know anything, if you know what you're doing, you avoid the time wraith. He never said how you avoid the time wraith.
Right.
So that leaves Barry in a position where if he needs to time travel again, how the fuck is he going to avoid this time wraith?
He's going to have to go back in time to season 1, episode 11 for a third time.
Stop it.
To talk to Eobard
Then there will be 2 time wraiths after him.
No, there'll be 1 time wraith after
Yeah,
him with
because-
3 berries.
Yes. There's Hartley. Hartley got rid of the one. But,
Yeah, but
it sounds
if-
like there are many, many time wraiths. They all might get pissed off and all come after Barry, and then he's got
Yeah,
a lot to
it's
deal
like-
with.
But this
Well,
is
that-
what is going on with Legends of Tomorrow? Why are there no time wraiths?
that was my question because their method of time travel is different. I think the time wraith comes from the Speed Force.
Yeah.
Or
And-
is attracted to the Speed Force.
Or is meant to control the Speed Force version of time travel. I mean the time lords. Oh my god, time masters. They don't use the Speed Force to time travel. It's a different method of time traveling, and also they know what they're doing. So maybe that as well.
It's also a future thing where, maybe they eradicate the time wraiths because they're like, you bitches are in our way. We have to do things, and the time
Well-
stops.
Well, how I think the time wraith works is
It exists
born-
outside of time.
well, no, it's born out of the time travel. So Barry, however he time traveled, created it. So I think if you time travel wrong, you make it.
That makes sense.
Seemed like to me.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it wasn't just the Cisco comments and all that, but it was the time wraith itself that
Yeah.
had Wells realize 100%.
Like,
Because he's like, why didn't you
Yeah.
tell us about this before?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like an illusion. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's when Wells snapped.
Eobard knowing what a time wraith is, and then one odd, showing up out of nowhere after he's been there for 15 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would.
Yeah, because he even said he was scared, like maybe it was after him, but then he was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
can't be. So yeah, that's. What was I going to say about time travel?
Eobard?
Hmm?
Eobard?
Yeah.
My
don't know.
plan? This means my plan failed. Barry
no,
was
no,
Oh
dude,
my
you
gosh.
worked.
so
You worked it.
so quick on his
Barry
thinking.
scared me in that scene when he was cuffed to the
Yeah.
wheelchair, because he just pulled out some stuff where I'm like, oh my god, Barry.
He pulled Wells on Wells.
Yeah,
Kind of
it
did.
was super scary.
Trying to vibrate through. He's like, my Barry doesn't know how to vibe yet.
Phase.
Phase.
His
I knew it was wrong as
Cisco
soon as I
doesn't know how
said
to
it.
vibe yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It was just because he just seemed so vicious and threatening, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not Barry. You're
I learned
scared.
it by watching you. Yeah, but and it watching Eobard in Wells's face was just that actor is amazing because he acts so differently between the characters, and you can I at least saw remembering
Oh, yeah.
how he acted when he was the younger Wells before Eobard killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering that and seeing the old Wells with Jesse,
Yep.
Earth 2 Wells, it's like that's clearly an older version of that dude. And then there's Eobard, who's just like this,
Oh, yeah.
so different.
They are. Like, they're not, but they
So
are.
different.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The mannerisms, the speech pattern, everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
The
I have
intonations.
to give kudos to all actors and actresses that play multiple characters all
And
the time, because
Barry,
it's
the different berries.
yes, I there's no way I could ever do that.
The
So-
double berries are great.
Oh goodness.
We watch Wrath of Khan 5 times, and at the end, every time you turn to me and you say, "I have been and always will be here."
Imposter!
Fucking Cisco, man.
Oh my god, that part was so funny.
I can time travel?
Keaton's like, I didn't make a trinkle. I didn't do it.
Not you, the other you.
The other you from my time, other you.
Not the other you from Earth 2. I wish he said that.
Yeah.
That would have
But I
been a
like
flip
they-
that he would have done. Yes.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
like where they like doppelgangers. He's like, no, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, what I liked about all this was
No,
that
see,
Barry
this
got
is gonna change something. This is gonna change something.
What?
I think Ronnie's gonna be alive now. I just had an epiphany. Because what was the last thing that he said to Cisco?
Hartley. Or no, he told Cisco. Yeah, he was like, Hartley knows about Ronnie. Well, no,
Yeah, he
that's
knows
just
where to
that's
find
just
him.
gonna help them find Firestorm. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna live.
It's gonna. I don't know.
Because he didn't say, "Oh, save Ronnie." He just said, "This Hartley knows where Ronnie is."
Yeah, and that's before they found him the first time,
Yeah.
when he was still crazy hobo Firestorm, and when him and Stein hadn't separated for all that time.
Yeah, but they could change the events in which they found him and find him earlier and
Maybe. I think we're gonna have to wait to see for that one.
The
Yeah.
singularity is what killed Ronnie, and I mean, we know that didn't really change.
And if that's the case, if that changes, then we're gonna have a whole other problem with
Stein.
Jax. Not just
Yeah.
Stein, but Jax.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of in a time immunity.
What would be amazing? What would be absolutely amazing is, let's say it did go through.
Stein's?
No, let's say it did go through, and it's not like, let's say 100% went through. Ronnie's still alive, which I don't think is necessarily the case now that we're factoring all this other stuff in. But all of a sudden, Jax just like phases out of existence, and Ronnie's been on the journey the whole time, and everybody just accepted that it was Ronnie. But they'll have to course correct again, to get Jax back. But like, or have Jax still be on Earth and something going on with Jax. But like, can you imagine how crazy that would be because it would be like the Marty McFly phasing out of existence kind of thing. But it would just replace, because if in this case, Ronnie never would have separated for Stein, therefore he would have been on the whole journey from Legends the entire time.
So that reminds me of something fucking hilarious from the Justice League Unlimited cartoon.
Okay.
They were going through like reality shifting, and I forgot exactly what was happening, but it was one of my favorite fucking episodes ever. And while they were talking to the John Stewart Green Lantern, in the middle of his speech, he changed into Hal Jordan.
Okay, yep.
And just kept talking, and everyone's just like, and he's like, I'm Hal Jordan, I'm up to speed, and he keeps talking. It's like, what? So funny.
No, please don't do that to me. My
I
brain
know,
can
I
barely
love
handle
this.
time travel. Just don't bring that shit in here.
Well, that is time travel. That's exactly what that is.
That's a whole nother level, and I don't want that.
Yeah,
level.
that's a brain
I haven't
bleeding
reached
level.
that flag at Bowser's Castle yet. I'm not ready for it.
I'm sorry, but your time travel is in another castle.
Yeah. Anyway, I like that Barry gets this asinine idea from Wally. Like, Wally talking about reading the journals of these people he can't talk to, and Barry's like, I have a great idea. And like my first thought was like, oh, you're gonna read Eobard's journal, and then he's like, I'm gonna go back in time. And I'm like,
Well, no, because but it was because I was like, Wally's gonna solve the problem, and sure enough, and then because Barry's thinking, because it was Wally that said, it's not like I could go back and talk to them,
yeah.
and that's when
I can.
yeah. But I loved how they like mapped everything out, and like, okay, so at this point, this is what we were thinking about. Like, make sure not to say this, and and like, don't, whatever you do, don't change anything. Like, don't tell us about Wells.
Do?
He immediately goes back. Check his ear. Check it. It has a low frequency emitter. I was like, Barry, I hate you
Barry,
right now.
you're off to a bad start.
I hate you right now, Barry. And I don't know how I feel about Hartley being with them right now. I don't know.
Because I
I
loved Hartley's character.
I don't know
And
how
the
I
fact
feel.
that he was locked up, and not around. It's like, oh, it's so sad. Now he's.
I don't know how I feel about it, because now he's like been at all these other events that, like,
We don't know how much of a
don't
hand
know.
he's played. Like,
No, but he mentioned the singularity that, you know, he was involved in that, and he said something else that they were all, like, together with, and I was like...
I don't think they said he was at the Singularity.
Well, he was talking about it, or...
Well, the Singularity was a big event. A lot of
Yeah.
people were there. It doesn't mean they helped.
I guess.
Because the only thing they mentioned about the Singularity was that Evil Wells died.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he did.
No one else to speak Latin.
He, like, high-fived them, yeah. Yeah, so he's like, yeah, with Wells not around or whatever, you know, anymore, there's no one else that understands Latin. So that makes me think he's been hanging around there a lot. Like, he's been there the whole time.
I don't think the whole time.
Like I said, I think he plays the same part as like Firestorm. They call him up every once in a while to help out with something. It might just be over the phone. He'd be like, "Well, we're having a problem with this. Can you help us out?" And then he blabbers off some techno babble, and then they're like,
What?
"Oh, we got it." And they
think. Oh my God! Wait, his whole jam is frequencies. He's gonna help Cisco crack the goggles.
Yeah, probably.
I flip my table.
And well, and also
I'm holding on for dear life. You scared the shit out of me.
and also the problem with the Earths, the different Earths and stuff, like traveling between dimensions, is because all the Earths vibrate at their own frequency. So he's gonna be the one to help do that with the help of Wells' little data card.
There's that.
So
And I'll bring it up in the Supergirl podcast tomorrow night, or when we do that, about the frequencies in the worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm so happy that Hartley's a good guy.
Yeah.
So happy.
I
don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. I need more time with him.
I don't know enough about him.
Well, I liked him when, and I harken back to like the episode he was in. You know, what is it? Season 1, episode 11.
How'd you know that?
I don't know. But like him and Cisco, like even though they were just their dynamic was great, and now that their dynamics probably changed because they're nice to each other. I hope they're still like assholes to each other, but like the friend kind of assholes to each other.
Maybe.
Kind of like
speak 6 different languages and still sound like a douche in every one.
How about kind of like the jerk bitch kind of asshole banter? Yeah. Idjit.
Sam, Dean, Bobby, and Castiel. It's same relationship.
Is it ass butt?
Butt.
Ass butt. God. He's good at stuff. Anyway, the answer is tachyon particles. The thing that Eobard had strapped to his suit to like help steal speed or whatever.
I don't know if it's just steal speed, but
create it.
Yeah,
Store
to generate it.
Generate it. So Eobard gives him the floppy, not floppy. God damn it. We're
thumb
doing
drive?
the whole the thumb drive, but we're
Floppies are
doing
like
the whole
this big.
throwback. We were doing the whole throwback thing earlier, so that's probably why I thought of floppy.
Mm-hmm.
The thumb drive.
Be right back, I gotta go get my skip it.
Yeah. And they have the formula, so now they just gotta make a chest thingy.
Do they still have Eobard's suit?
Well, yeah, they have Eobard's suit because Wells wore it to trick Grodd.
Oh my God, you're right.
So I'm pretty sure they still have it.
Prototype.
How do they have it? I thought he disappeared in it.
He had extra in the room.
Oh, okay.
In his little safe room.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
the time room. What do they call that?
But they might not have the
tachyon. Yeah, but if they don't, the thumb drive has the way to create it.
Yep.
The blueprints.
What I absolutely loved was when they switched the flash symbols.
Yeah.
I loved that. Right before he left, they switched their symbols. I was like, oh, it's so cool.
And that bothers me so much because when they take it off, there's like no place for like a screw hole. Like you would see like, 2 prongs or something on the inside that you would stick and slide and like twist for it to stick into. It's literally just like stuck on there. So it's like,
Well, I mean, I think because there are 4 little points on that circle when you take it off, and I think those are magnets.
Maybe.
I think it's a magnet.
Maybe.
Magnetic, yeah.
Magnetic. So the one thing we didn't talk about yet is Eddie. And how Barry does this thing for Iris where he records Eddie.
At first, I was like, Barry, this is the stupidest thing you could ever do. This is more stupid than what you just did with Hartley. Like, I was ready to flip out. And then when it was all said and done, and Iris was, I was like, this is the perfect bit of closure for Iris.
Yeah.
It's just like, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's gonna move on now.
Yeah.
But to Barry? No, definitely not. That's not
No,
gonna
to her
happen.
boss.
Exactly. Barry wants it to be him, but he knows that it's not going to happen. That's why he did it for
Well,
her.
I think season 1 Barry wanted it to be him. But I think now Barry's sort of just like, I don't want to lose Iris as anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like having her in his life is enough for him now, I think. Barry's
just-
got enough
I
fucking shit
just,
to
I
worry
just
about.
made my brain hurt when you said season 1 Barry. I just said to myself, well, why doesn't season 2 Barry go back to season 1 and season 1 Barry go up to season 2 and then they just switch roles permanently? I go, what the hell would that do to the timeline? Like, where would I don't know. Like, that would just pop into my head and I go, how would that work? Like, they just indefinitely switch places. Like, how would that look on like the timeline? Like, it's just like it's breaking my brain right now. Let's just stop.
Yeah,
Why did you do this to me? You did it.
Nikki. She's gonna punch you.
You did it to me.
I did it to you.
You did it.
You thought of that.
You triggered it. I had a vibe about it.
I'm really.
I was so like not focused when he was time traveling. Did we see stuff flashing by in pictures and?
Yeah, it was all stuff that had happened in the past.
Okay.
So Eddie shooting himself, the singularity. There was one other thing.
Bart fading away.
Yeah.
Saw that.
So it was all stuff.
Yeah, I recognize those, but I like thinking back on it now. I was just like, was there anything else? Because I know that there was something that we've never discussed with Barry time traveling in one of the scenes and stuff. Because I know we've done it recently, but it was like one of the first couple times that he time traveled. There was a scene of Barry behind bars, and I know that's a huge storyline.
Well, I mean, he was behind bars with Zoom.
In Earth 2.
Yeah.
There was something behind bars. Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
we went over all the travel images in detail, and I don't remember.
There was 100% an image of Barry behind bars, and I forgot to mention it.
Yeah, find it for me because I don't remember it, and I know we went over every one of them. But I liked how with Eddie, how Barry was just so shocked to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And what was I gonna say about that? I don't know, that dynamic and Joe going, I thought you were okay, and Barry's like, yeah, I'm fine. It's not that.
I'm gonna put this in.
He's not behind bars. He's behind.
Yeah.
He's in jail. He's talking on one of the phones.
Yeah, he's in the prison suit.
Yes. It looks like he's talking to Joe.
Yeah.
Are you sure? When was this? Where was this?
This is one of the times he was time traveling.
Which time? That's important.
One of the first. I don't know the exact one. This is one of the first times. It's something we saw in. This could have very well been in the season 1, the final one, for all I know. But he's on the phone, and he's the one in the suit. You see the guard walking behind him in this picture. So he's on the wrong side of the glass. And there was a whole thing I was reading today regarding the scene. That's why I'm recalling it, because Grant had mentioned that that there's a whole storyline involving it, and it's something that they're not going to cover. He said it's something that's going to be like almost a whole season. So I expect it to be something that happens in season 3. And if that is the case, that gives us room to have Wally and Jesse kind of take over the Flash
That's
reins
true.
when,
God, I would love that.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to figure this out when this was. Oh, yeah, and if you also look closely in this scene, Barry's handcuffed. You could see the handcuffs while he's on the phone. So.
Yeah, well.
That's just something I forgot to mention. It's been bugging me, and I just saw it again today when I was reading something, and I forgot about it. But I think that was in the finale of season 1. I'm almost positive.
Okay.
Well, that's something that's interesting, because if he saw that when he was traveling back in time to see his mom, then he also saw Killer Frost, which means that our Caitlin could still be Killer Frost in the future. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot to consider. I want to go back and watch every single episode now.
Mm-hmm.
Look what you've done to me, Dom. I blame you.
Time travel's a bitch.
It is. So
That's why I gave up Doctor Who, but here I am.
So Barry's got the tachyon, the equation thing, and he's gonna obviously put it together, start using it. Is he ready for Zoom?
Sally's hopped up on cold medicine right now. She's trying to communicate to us, but it said, "I love honk, Dom is right," but she meant how I was right. She doesn't remember what episode it was, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one. I'm gonna go back and watch before our next podcast, and we'll come back and we'll discuss this. So.
I won't have time, unfortunately, to watch anything for next podcast. So.
Yeah.
It's hard enough for me to watch the shows I have to watch.
I got the weekends free, so I'll have some time then.
But yeah, do we think he's ready for Zoom? He'll be ready for Zoom when he's got the stuff? When he's got the goods?
I mean,
He's
kind
close.
of already know that he's making big leaps, and he's, growing a lot just from watching another show that aired kind of out of continuity. So, I mean, yes, he's getting ready. He's very close. He will be.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Next episode. Blah blah blah. Is versus Zoom. Oh, why does it not have the damn thing there? God, no!
Damn thing there.
There.
Yeah. Wait, are you looking for the synopsis?
I am.
Okay.
It wasn't where it usually is, and I'm confused now. Do you have it?
I don't even have a name for next episode right now.
The name for next episode is I think I just said it.
Oh,
was
versus Zoom?
Versus Zoom, yeah. But that's it. Like, I can't find a thing. It's not where it should be. It's not there. Well, we have a little bit of a break until the next episode, right?
Really? Another one?
Week? I think so. Right? Because Flashback aired March 29th, and versus Zoom is April 19th.
Yeah, so it looks like we got some time.
We got a week break.
Yeah, up to 5 hours ago, I'm actually reading that.
Oh, you look so creepy with the black suit. Ah!
It says that versus Zoom does not officially have a synopsis. So.
Okay. Well, from the promo, we can see that he makes it to Earth 2, and he faces off against Zoom, and they learn that it is not their Jay, but Hunter Zolomon.
I knew it. And you guys were like, no, it can't be Hunter. Nope.
Well,
nope.
but there, no, I never said that. I said there's a complication if it is Hunter, because if it is Hunter, that means he's either not from our Earth, or he is from our Earth, and there were breaches before the singularity. That was my...
Yes, and I'm
that
still
was
not
my-
convinced that there isn't twins.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means each Earth can have 2 sets of
Yeah.
J hunters. You know,
Gotcha.
whatever. The same actor can be playing 4 roles, theoretically.
God. I'm getting like chills.
He could be
'Cause-
playing Jay and Zoom from Earth 1, or Jay and Hunter from Earth 1, and Jay and Hunter from Earth 2.
Yeah, because in the
But according
promo.
to what they were talking about, what Jay was mentioning, there is no Jay in Earth 1.
But
That is
think
only
about-
Hunter. So there could be a Jay and a Hunter on Earth 2, and only a Hunter on Earth 1.
That's true. Yes, that could be. But I think because Jay brings Caitlin to see Hunter in the park where he's reading all like innocent like, and I think that was a bit of a setup.
Mm-hmm.
Where Zoom was like, because there's clearly been, or maybe it's not clear. Maybe I'm just pulling this out of my ass.
Could be.
There's been Hunter and Jay, or at least Zoom and Jay have communicated prior, and it's so creepy with the black suit. Ugh.
He looks even creepier with his black eyes, which is
Yeah, and there's a part in the promo where he's got black eyes. So maybe he said, "Oh, let's set up this innocent-looking scene where you tell her this story about me." But yeah, it looks scary. I don't know. As much as Barry's been making strides, I'm not sure he's ready. This could end in tears because we're still far from the season finale.
We're like 5 episodes away.
Yeah.
4 to 5 episodes
I like
away.
in the future.
Not 45, 425.
Like everything on the wiki is just like to be determined or to be announced, and then except for Kevin Smith, we know Kevin Smith is directing the 21st episode.
Right.
Like, he's the only certain thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
So Dom, where can people find you?
You can find me down below. Over here at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Do Phenomenon. Do. Omi, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVENOM24.
And you can find me at Clio Moto on Twitter, Twitch, and Pinterest. And you can find all of us at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more of your
Space.
Follow us for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, video games, and movies. Until next time, bye-bye. Thanks for doing the MySpace when you did, because I flubbed that line anyway.
Yeah, you're welcome. What if Zoom is time traveling back to times when Jay existed, and Jay and Zoom are not actually different people, they're just different versions of himself?
I totally forgot to mention that Hartley made a Harry Potter reference, and it was hilarious because it does look like a Dementor.
Yes.
Does that make Hartley...
I mean, he does have Harry Potter glasses.
Hartley is clearly Draco Malfoy.
Yes,
Is
that
he?
I was trying to think of the name. Yep, that's who he is. Yep, done.
He's Draco, but looks like Harry.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.